I didn't.
Hello there and welcome to MacYak episode number 185. Thank you to everyone for joining us and thank you to you guys. I must quickly mention that Steve is not with us tonight. He is getting ready for VCF, which we'll touch on in a few moments' time. And we have someone here on the panel, which he kind of feels like a special guest, but is actually a regular sort of. Groody, welcome to the show.
A regular sort of, right.
He's very irregular. He's irregular.
I think he's a guest tonight or something.
Yeah,
isn't he?
yeah. It sort of it does feel like
No.
it,
I'm a
doesn't it?
regular. I'm actually back this time.
Do you know what the
make a
word
commitment.
regular means?
Yeah.
Wait, we fired him months ago, and
Yeah.
GT, you were supposed to tell him.
Oh, damn. I guess I couldn't tell him.
We have moved mountains. People may or may not realize this, but I think we've been off here for 3 weeks, and we did that to actually shift us into a different set of fortnight recurrence, so that Grudy would actually be able to be on, I think, most shows. I think there's one you may not be able to come to during the month, but
I should be on all of them. Yeah.
Okay, well, you heard it here, folks. So if he's not on, we know
should be.
He was fibbing. Well, look, I will hand it over to you, Grudy. What you been up to all this time? Anything new to report on?
Well, I mean, you guys saw my update video.
No.
Got robbed and all that stuff, and
I think we all missed it.
Yeah. But that's basically what was going on. I just never had time while I was trying to get all this situated. But hey, now I've got the studio almost cleaned up.
Whoa!
I'm getting
All
ready
it took for you was to get robbed. We had to clean up finally.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to start filming again. So
excellent. Well, that is good news. That's good
I'm definitely glad to be back.
Hey, Greg, try one of these.
Yeah.
And how about you, GT? Anything interesting to report?
Not recently. I haven't really been doing much. Just chilling out and basically gaming on my game computer. I did some 3D printing. I actually did a multicolor print the other day, so that's pretty neat, but it's a pain in the butt to do when you only have one filament.
Indeed. Yes, we did a little. We did 3D printing on their little sister show, the Startup Disc is Full show, and on that we had Kate, the Macintosh librarian, on, and she was showing us her absolutely amazing 3D printer that can just print in multiple colors, and it was quite something else. I have to say that I think I will steer clear of multicolored printing until I get one of those.
Oh,
I forgot to.
It's a pain.
I forgot to ask her if her printer is single because I want to hook up with it.
Yeah, that's right. That is one sexy printer. There's no doubt about that. And look, Jay, you're just a voice in the background. Anything new to report from your part of the world?
Yeah. You know how I always say I'm going to clean my office. It's kind of a mess. I have reached a point where only a flamethrower can get the job done. I have to jump from my door to get to this desk, and it's just incredibly messy. So
cool. Let's see it on camera.
You mean
anything?
It's worse than Steve's basement.
I haven't touched a soldering iron in months because I can't get to that repair desk. So it's just been my regular day job, spending time with the family over the weekends and at night, and that's about it.
You sent me pictures, though. I mean, you sent me pictures of that area looking clean and that you could access it. What happened?
Well, everything that I moved out of frame to make an impressive photo, I moved back to where it was, and then a lot more stuff got added to it.
Okay, I see. That's my sort of cleaning. That's definitely my sort of cleaning. Mike, anything interesting to report?
I'm going to New Jersey tomorrow. How exciting can that be?
My commiserations. So,
I mean, it's New Jersey, for Christ's sakes.
This is okay. So it's tomorrow you're going. So this is VCF we're talking about here. So VCF, tell us what VCF is.
VCF is the Vintage Computer Festival. It's held once a year in Wall, New Jersey. And it's basically a bunch of retro geeks all getting together and just nerding out for 2 days. So it is Saturday and Sunday at the Info Age Museum in Wall, New Jersey. And I'm quite excited for this year because it's going to be a very full weekend. So
are you just participating as a, just as a participant, or are you actually going to be doing something special there?
I'm getting to that. Would you shut up?
Oh, hurry up.
Damn.
So I will speak at my pace. Don't rush me.
Yeah, where's
So-
that mute button?
So there's all kinds of things going on all weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can go to vcfed.org and click on VCF East. If you're in the local area or even close by, I would suggest definitely going if you're into vintage computers. However, the one thing that I'm quite excited for is, first of all, we have an exhibit. Me, Sean from Action Retro, and Steve from Mac 84, of course. We are all getting together as we've done for the last 2 years now. This will be the third year, and we have an exhibit. And we're going to have one of the larger exhibits. So we have that. But also, the three of us are also going to be participating in a panel on Saturday with the 8-bit guy and moderated by Bill Hurd, who is an ex-engineer from Commodore, as YouTubers. So it'll be quite nice. So
A moderator, so it's gonna get violent. You're gonna start yelling at each other, and then Mac is
Oh,
better.
wow, no,
No,
we might.
IBM is better.
So, but we're in the, if anybody's familiar with VCF, we're in the lower section this time. And we're actually going to be right next to Chris Lenderman, who goes by the name RetroTech Chris. Go away. At the end of the row is going to be Colin Mister of Das Dude 1 fame. And up on the upper level, will be Michael Casadevall, who's goes by N Commander. I'm kind of hoping that he can dump the ROMs on my iMac this year. I am only taking the iMac because I suspect Sean's probably going to take 3/4 of the space, and then Steve's going to stretch out his stuff and pretty much eat up what little bit of space we have left.
That doesn't sound like them at all. Come on.
I have seen some of the things. Certainly, if people have been watching Sean's videos, he's just been saying the sorts of things that he is going to be bringing along. He's going to be bringing along some interesting stuff, and I don't want to give things away for Steve, but I've got a fair idea of what he's taking as well. So I think he's going to have some pretty interesting stuff there as well.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what Steve's bringing because, truthfully, I don't think Steve knows what Steve's bringing. Because typically, every year I go out, I usually stop at his house first, and before we even go to VCF, we have to spend 3 or 4 hours digging stuff up in his basement for him to take. So this year, I'm going straight to the exhibit hall to set up without him, because he has helped this year. So
I have a question.
yeah.
Is one of you finally smart enough to drive a U-Haul there, an empty U-Haul, so you can actually buy stuff and take it home with you?
Well, I don't know if you really need to take a U-Haul with you, but yes, there is a consignment area. Usually has some very good stuff. I've picked up a lot of good stuff there over the last couple of years. So here's the roadmap. So yeah, there's talks, there's classrooms, of course there's exhibits, there's the VCF Museum. This is the home of VCF, of the Vintage Computer Federation, so they have their museum here as well. So if you're in the area, I definitely suggest going. Yes, you do have to pay to get in, but it all goes into the Vintage Computer Federation, so they can hold these events. So there you go.
So that's a lot of nerds in one place.
It is a lot
should
of
be
nerds
interesting.
in one place. Yes, it's always quite interesting, to be honest with you.
It's a great place to meet girls too.
That it is not. Unfortunately, it is a very male-centric hobby, which is quite unfortunate, actually. But yeah, meeting women is definitely not something that typically happens at these events.
I'll let you have Virtual Valerie installed, but
Oh dear, so that's
Very
good.
good.
So yeah, obviously from the Macyak group. So yes, Mike will be there and Steve will be there. I think that's it from the Macyak group. But obviously Sean, who is in the chat, he will be there. So you can
but
go
if I want to see this panel and I'm way too shy to show up in person, can I view it online? Is it
Go
going to be
to
streamed?
vcfed.org and choose streaming.
Ooh. And you're going to let us all know in the Macyak chat when it's happening, of course?
Yeah.
3:30 on Saturday.
Cool.
That's when Steve, Sean, they're doing 2 panels. So they're doing one tomorrow from 3:30 to 5:30. It's going to have Adrian Black from Adrian's Digital Basement, David Lovett from Usagi Electric, Fran Blanche, and
Someone else.
Jerry Ellsworth.
old Jerry.
Yes, they're doing Friday, and then Saturday it's going to be me, Sean, Steve, and David Murray, the 8-bit guy. So, needless to say, I don't even know how this works because, like, the 3 of us combined don't even touch David's subscription rate, for frick's sakes. So, I mean, it's kind of weird that they kind of grouped us all together like that. So, but yeah.
Hey, anyone can buy subscribers. I do it. I got like 1,200 now.
But hey, all the talks. If you go to vcfed.org and click on VCFEs, they're doing talks all day, and I think for the most part, I think every talk is going to be streamed on the Vintage Computer Federation YouTube channel. They have
Cool.
as far as I know, they have a VCF East like placeholder there already. It's just going to be one big long stream. So,
Cool.
you can watch there live. So,
Yay!
And I'll be the one that, as soon as you guys go live, I'll be texting all of you individually to see who forgot to turn on their do not disturb. That's going to be me.
Yeah, I believe you.
I do too.
you're an ass.
So VCF, that's VCF, folks. So yeah, if you're in the neighborhood, definitely get to it. These are the sorts of things that I can only dream about because I'm in the wrong freaking country. But it definitely sounds like it will be a good occasion. Dana, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi. Yeah, so I had my dinner and then Buddy decided to reintroduce his, so I had to clean that up. Oh, this is neat with the pictures and
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, it's fancy.
And so just checking, was that reintroduced on a bare part of the floor or onto a
No.
carpet?
Always carpet, of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what cats do.
they never go for the tile. They only go for carpet.
Yeah,
Believe
that's
me,
right.
I know from experience.
Or the bed, or the lamp.
Yeah, they're good for the bed too.
At least it wasn't introduced on your food.
No.
Now, just very quick, I want to touch on this really quickly. There was mention there of Adrian's Digital Basement, who is going to be at VCF. I just thought I'd make a quick mention of this. I don't know if anyone heard about the fact that he had one of his channels shut down. It is back up and running again now, but it was quite an interesting little thing. And I guess there's probably a lesson in it for everyone. If you are someone who is planning to create multiple versions of your channel, do them under the same Google account. Because he got himself into a world of hurt by actually having a separate Google account with another Adrian's Digital Basement channel, and basically Google thought that that was someone impersonating the other one because they were on 2 separate Google accounts. So it took him quite a bit of time and quite a bit of public outrage. But as I say, I think if there's a lesson in it for everyone, if you are going to create multiple channels of your content, do it all under the same Google account.
Yep.
So I'm just going to touch on a couple of things really quick here before we launch into the topic or topics. I have finally installed the Laundry Sync ultrasonic cleaner that I made and did a video on. It is now actually installed in the laundry and functional. So I've got some videos coming up on that. And the other thing I also wanted to mention is that I have very recently made let's call it a policy change to the recapping. And that is, I'm really not taking on Mac Classics anymore. We often talk about that whole thing about don't leave it too late before you get a computer recapped. Well, I'm saying now with Classics, if you haven't got them recapped by now, you've left it too late. Those things are an absolute friggin' nightmare. I generally, if I get a Mac Classic and I recap the logic board and the analog board, it's usually still stuffed, and then I end up losing a day trying to fix it. So I'm just letting everyone know that my love affair with the Mac Classic is over.
Well, Bruce, I hate to say it, but there's no real big loss there.
No, you're right. You're right.
I mean, honestly, the Classic is a piece of crap anyway.
I think one of the biggest problems is because they were so readily available in schools. There are just so many of them because
There's
so
billions of
many
them
schools had
things.
And so if someone is looking to get a compact Mac and they're out on the lookout for one, they're the one that they're most likely to see available for sale. They're on eBay or Marketplace. Or
Spend a
whatever.
little extra money and get an SE. You will not regret it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I keep telling people. I tell people, buy the Mac SE. It's a much more bulletproof computer. And most of the problems that an SE will encounter, you will be able to relatively easily fix. Get an SE, better computer, better power supply, better everything. So that's my little rant finished with. So now, we are actually moving on to some topics. These are ones that I just sort of came up with, and I thought these are things that we can just prattle on about. So I'm going to start off with privacy. And Apple, of course, are always telling us how important privacy is and that they are respecting our privacy. Do we believe them?
I believe them more than I believe Google.
Exactly. I was going to say the same thing about.
Or the government.
Or
I mean,
Facebook.
in terms of my telephone, if I have to choose between Apple and Google to keep my information somewhat private, I'm going to trust Apple before I trust Google. Not saying that Apple's not sharing my information, because I definitely don't use Siri and I don't have it turned on because I don't need anybody listening in on me. But I definitely trust Apple more than I trust Google.
Hey, Siri. Just checking to see if anyone's goes off.
Well, so my phone could hear you anyway.
Good one, Thomas.
Yeah.
And the fact that Android is such an open operating system does not sit well with me either.
I mean, look, there's an argument to be had that Apple don't need to share our information because they don't have a mechanism in place to profit from that. They might use information to, I don't know, improve the operating system. Maybe they are getting recordings from Siri so that they can hone their voice recognition, giving them the benefit of the doubt here. But ultimately, this is a company that make money from selling hardware, so they don't need to collect huge amounts of information on us to then on-sell. Do you think that's a good reason to trust them?
So
what Bruce said.
reasonable. I mean, you do have a point there. In terms of, like, how are they going to profit off of, how, in what way would they profit off of selling our information? I mean, besides to make more money.
And I agree with that because Mike just said it is they basically tout their security on their phones and their privacy. So why would they want to mess that up?
True.
And they have actually, in the past, at least here in the United States, they've actually sort of proven that they value the privacy of the end user versus anything else, because they've notoriously refused to unlock devices. They actually claim that they can't unlock devices.
Yeah, bullshit.
I call BS on that.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
They have actually gone against the government, saying we will not do this, at least not without a court order. So at least that sits in some niche saying that, at least they kind of respect the end user. So,
Well, the thing is that, like Bruce said, it's not their business model to gather as much info as they can so they can sell it and profit from it. The problem is, it is Google's model. It is Facebook's model. And in order to lure as many users in as possible, they ended up making really, really fantastic products. I mean, there is no search engine better than Google, as much as I hate them. There's no one better. And I just wish that Apple would do the same. Like, I actually pay for your stuff. How come I'm dealing with the same bug since Lion that is still in Ventura today? Stuff like that. So would you make the trade-off if Apple told you, like, hey, if we can harvest as much info about you as we can and sell it, we'll give you a separate operating system that is way better than what the mainstream gets? Would you do it?
no.
No.
Probably not.
I'd go back to Windows.
Disgusting. Come on.
You look at something like Google Maps, right? Now, I am actually happy for Google to know my whereabouts for the benefit of Google Maps. If you are thinking about if I fire up Google Maps and it tells me there's a great big lengthy traffic jam at a particular road, so don't go down there, turn this way, we can avoid it. That sort of instant traffic information is collected by actually having all of these Google apps open, all these devices open, and collecting information about, well, this big group of cars here is moving at a snail's pace, so there must be a traffic jam here.
Yeah.
And that to me is something that benefits everyone, but it is data collection, and it sort of ultimately means that Google know as soon as I hop into a car, if I've got Google Maps open, they know where I am. And I don't know. I mean, I appreciate it in the way it makes the app better, but can something like that be used for more nefarious means? Are they sort of saying, oh, look, every Saturday he heads out to get a hamburger, so let's start sending him ads about hamburgers or something like that? I just I appreciate that there can be benefits, but then there could also be a downside to having that sort of information shared.
Well,
Yeah.
you talk about the ad targeting there, Bruce, and that's something I've actually seen happen even on the iPhone, where if you're talking about something, let's say you're thinking about, oh, I got to go buy some shades for my windows and stuff, some blinds. And then all of a sudden you pick up your phone later that day and you see the first thing you see in there, like especially Facebook's I know they're listening because you pick it up and all of a sudden you see an ad, Facebook ad for blinds. And you're like, wait a second. I was just talking about, and I've seen that happen myself. So I
me
know
too.
that thing's
Me
listening.
too.
Oh, yeah. We
And
had that recently in the Startup Discus Full episode about 3D printers. One of our guests didn't have an Apple device. So we used, Facebook Messenger to coordinate and to share notes and all that stuff. Everything we talked about showed up everywhere for weeks. And there was stuff in there that had nothing to do with 3D printers, and that showed up as well. So I knew it came from that chat.
Yeah. Well, I do find that there are times when I talk about things, now, admittedly, my wife spends a lot of time on, some of the social media apps, things like Instagram and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if they're listening, but I definitely have had times where we have just had discussions in our living room. Now, it can't be my TV because it's not connected to the internet, but we've had discussions in the living room, and then all of a sudden I do start seeing ads about whatever we were talking about. So we know something is definitely listening. But here's an interesting thing about that. If I'm an advertiser, I am going to potentially pay more for that ad appearing where it's somewhere of relevance. So, that's much more targeted marketing. So a you could end up with, with that company saying, well, you're going to have to pay twice as much for that ad because we've sent that as a targeted ad to someone who is actually interested in your product. So let's just say I'm interested in garden sheds, and I do a search for garden sheds, and I look at all the different garden sheds, and I find the one that I want. I buy that garden shed. I'm a happy customer. I have now got a new garden shed. Now, for the next week, I am seeing targeted ads for garden sheds. And you know what? Those advertisers are being ripped off.
Yeah.
Because they are paying a higher amount for those ads to appear in my feed because I am considered to be a target because I have been searching for garden sheds. But newsflash, I've already bought it. I'm not interested in seeing any more ads because I've got my garden shed. So you can show me ads left, right, and center. And so, while I totally appreciate that targeted marketing is probably better than untargeted, it's better to show me. I mean, what's the point in showing me, dog food? I don't have a dog. It's a waste. It's a complete and total waste. It makes more sense to show me stuff that are relevant to me. But they are still very far from having it all figured out because I end up, look, in my Facebook feed, a picture comes up of, a attractive woman in a swimsuit. I go, let's see a high-res pic of that. I click on that link. Now I'm getting constant ads for women's swimsuits.
What's wrong with that?
I'm never going to buy one. I don't have an issue with seeing the ads, but it is, the advertisers are being ripped off because I'm never going to buy one.
Until maybe one day you will.
Maybe I will. Yeah.
I forgot what the topic is. How we got to this. Is it
Privacy.
anything Apple privacy?
It was Apple privacy. Yeah.
My issue is how. Let's say I don't like Google. I don't trust Google, so I avoid using Gmail and the search engine, and I'm done. But you're not, because every website, even the apps on your phone, they have Google Analytics built in.
Mhm.
So you never know if you're actually getting away from a certain company or a certain product because they don't tell you where it's at. Facebook has trackers all over the internet, just like Twitter does and Google does. And the thing is, Apple doesn't. Apple doesn't have HTML code that they try to get into every website out there so they can track you. So do I trust Apple? No. They're a for-profit company. They're going to screw us over eventually if they're not doing it already. They just haven't caught yet. But when it comes to privacy, I will trust Apple more than Google, Facebook, or any of the others.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's an example. I use Apple Pay. Okay, I really like the convenience of it. I can pay on my watch, my phone, whatever. It's awesome. It means that I don't have to carry a wallet around with me now. I just carry my phone and nothing else. Do you think they're tracking my purchases?
Absolutely.
And what would they be doing with that information?
Maybe nothing yet. But one day you might get hey, you've been pre-approved for an Apple Card because we see you spend tons of money and you're good for it. Or, hey, you already have an Apple Card. Let us increase your limit to $20,000 and hope that you spend it and can pay it back so we can charge you interest. And even if they're not doing anything with it right now, they're probably gathering it to say, hey, if we figure it out 10 years from now, we got 10 years of data we can use. That's awesome.
Well, my point was how do we know they are already doing something? I mean, it's a company that likes to make money and diversify. There might be something in the background we know nothing about where they're actually selling our information. But I mean, they're still more trustworthy right now in our eyesight than anyone else. So,
I mean, I guess there is a reputational risk involved if the information did get out that they were sharing information that they are the ones that have actually said we're the ones that respect your privacy and all that. And if word got out that they weren't, that they would probably cop a fair bit of flack. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I disagree with you. I mean, the sort of collect the data, figure out what to do with it later on. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
And they will know that, because of course all these companies, and this is well known, it's not even a secret, all these companies share the information they collect with each other. Google shares with Facebook, Facebook shares with Google, Apple probably buys up a whole bunch of analytics from those companies as well. So everybody knows what you're up to. So one day, some computer somewhere at one of these companies will put 2 and 2 together that, hey, we have been bombarding this Brankus character with sexy bikini photos for years. And Apple told us that one of his purchases, he finally bought one of those bikinis. So it worked. And then they got you.
so they get some validation. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's keep sending me bikini photos. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's that old adage of, if you're visiting a website and you can't see a product, then you are the product. And that we know that is the case with, companies like, with websites like Facebook and stuff. It doesn't cost you anything to use Facebook, but this is a company that's making huge amounts of money. So they know that we know they're making money from us. But I guess I put a hypothetical question here. Is there another way? Can companies like Facebook create a business model that doesn't involve tracking our every move?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
but why
how-
would they?
Because that data is more valuable than actually selling a product, a actual physical product. Because that's the world we live in today. Is that data is valuable.
Yeah. Hello,
It's
Aaron.
how people try to hide it. Like, we don't tell our audience here at MacYak that as soon as you join the stream, we hack you and install a crypto miner, unless you give us a super chat. We hide it in the intro in a small print somewhere, but we don't actively tell people.
Someone press the mute button. Can someone mute
It's
him?
that kind of sneakiness that I don't like,
Well, you speak of that. This kind of getting on a tangent here, but at work today, I actually found 7 of our computers that are display models crypto mining.
PCs, aren't they?
I believe it.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, why
So
does that not surprise me?
I mean, you can hate these people that install that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, they're brilliant. Like, hey, I don't have the money to buy a whole server farm to do this stuff for me. Let me just go cruise around Best Buy and Apple stores and install this stuff that does it all for me. And I'll be set. It's brilliant.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. The guy, whoever did this, was smart because they only did it to where it only worked during the non-business hours, so when we were closed. And the only reason why I caught it was because I come in 2 hours before we opened, and I heard this laptop just the fans were just screaming, and I'm like, and then I put my hand on it, it was hot, and I'm like, what is this thing doing? So I pull up Task Manager, and guess what? Crypto miner was the very first thing that was running the highest.
that's
So,
funny.
That's
Oh,
weird because I know that, and in the Apple stores, at the end of the day, all the computers are reset to a restore point. Because people mess around with those computers all day
Oh, yeah.
long. They break stuff, they install stuff, they try things. So at the end of the day, all the computers are reset. So I'm surprised that Best Buy doesn't do something similar.
well, they have them locked down, which is kind of weird because I couldn't stop the process because I don't have the admin password. Because you need an admin password to stop it, an admin password to actually stop the task, of course. But you need an admin password also to try to uninstall it. But I didn't have that either. So I'm
Of
like,
course, they don't trust you with that.
no.
It sounds to me like you're probably dealing with a staff member doing this.
No, actually, we
Oh,
found out
yeah.
that it's been happening to a lot of Best Buys. So there's actually probably somebody's figured a way to bypass the. We're talking about Windows computers here now, not Macs, because I didn't find it on any Macs. I found it on all the Windows computers. So,
And
Well, how much
so,
crypto do you think a MacBook Air can get you?
well, with those M1s, they might do a little bit better than those
That's
Intel
true.
processors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Holy mouse! Who's clicking?
I was about to say that.
It's not me.
I mean,
Probably Daner.
Nope.
Not me.
Now nobody's going to click
Well,
anything.
we're running out of people now.
I don't hear it.
is there anyone else here? Is there anyone else here? Is there someone who wants to make contact with us?
I blame Steve.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap up this topic unless anyone has anything else to say about it. That's basically just the privacy.
Yes,
I think we've
it's all a conspiracy. All of
Yeah,
it.
that's good. Absolutely. Now, this is a little topic that I, again, came up with last night. And as you'll see when you see the topic, why I came up with it, because I was clearly angry at something. So name one thing in Mac OS or iOS that has been an issue for years and still hasn't been addressed. I'll give you some thinking time.
Yeah, I got to think about that.
Window sizes and positions.
Sorry?
Window sizes and positions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Classic Mac OS, OS 9 and previous, remembered where you put windows, what size they were, and kept it that way. Ever since OS 10, that's gone to crap.
And I think that Windows, for instance, need to have the ability to snap like in Windows. So
Well,
you can
they
just pull it
They
to the
do.
side,
They
split it.
do,
It
Grudy.
does now.
It already
Wine
does.
doesn't mind
Maybe
do
if
it.
you upgrade past Tiger, you would see it.
Wine doesn't mind do it then.
Click
Click
it, drag it
down on
over
the
to the
green.
side.
I did
Click-
that.
Click
won't
down
do
on
it.
the green maximize button, or just hover over it, and you should get some options.
Oh, I never knew that.
I'm going to do that. Enter full screen. Move window to the left side of the screen. Move window to the right side of the screen. Move to play. Move to iMac.
But now, if you're running multiple monitors, it's hard to do that unless you use that little green button. But
Oh, that's so convenient.
See, maybe you should be on MacYak more often. You learn
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, maybe. maybe. Yeah.
I thought Windows did remember where they were, Dana.
I think
obviously
they
just
do now because I've
Kind
never
of.
I've never had a problem with my windows popping up where I left them last when I open it up.
Well,
I do have an issue with consistency though. Like when I have one window that I prefer icon mode, and 99% of all my other windows are list mode. If I adjust one, all the other windows go.
Oh, you're talking about
well, every new window you
Finder?
create will
Yeah.
be whatever
Yeah.
the setting. Yeah.
you're talking about Finder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because some, like you said, some folders are list mode, some are icon mode, and it just it's irritating. It's like,
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. If you go in and you make the change to a window, while it doesn't change all the other windows that are open, every new window you open from now on will have had that change applied to it. I definitely agree. It would be nice. To be able to
not
set that
necessarily.
preference.
If you go down a few directories and you do that, it's only those directories from there on down. But anything above it will be list view or whatever you had before.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's what Jay was talking about.
I don't know what I was talking about. I was thinking of something else. I thought of one thing that has annoyed the piss out of me ever since I started using a Mac, even before OS 10, and that is the search. Granted, OS 8 and OS 9 search was better. It just took a very long time for it to update. It wasn't constantly indexing like OS 10 and all that stuff. The
Right.
problem with OS 10 is it's constantly freaking indexing, and the indexes break all the time, and then you have to start over, and
Well,
it's infuriating.
that to me is also that is an absolutely infuriating thing. That if Spotlight is broken or indexing, you have no search. There's no backup plan. There's no alternative. It's not like, oh, Spotlight hasn't finished indexing, so let's search an old-fashioned way. It's going to take a little bit longer, but we'll still find what you're looking for. The fact that if that index is broken or hasn't been built and you search for something, you get zero results. And that, to me, is a massive flaw, that it doesn't have some form of backup. And this is actually where the little application, which we've talked about before on the show, Easy Find, it's the icon of a little badger or something like that. You know, it's a really good idea to have that for that instance. If you're searching for something and it comes up with nothing and you're like, I know it's on here somewhere, you can load up Easy Find. Takes a little bit longer, but it will find stuff without having to use the Spotlight Index.
You know the problem with websites such as Tinker Different. You know,
Yes,
a lot of
yes.
smart people there. A lot of smart people, smarter than I can ever aim to be. But they are all wasting their time on these beige Mac projects. Well, just one of them can take 20 minutes, grab Sherlock from macOS 9, adopt it so it can run on Big Sur, and we're done.
Yeah.
We need just one smart person to stop wasting their time and do it.
Yeah. No, it would be handy. It would be
Okay.
handy.
You volunteering for that task?
Me?
You're a
Sounds
smart,
like it,
you're a
yeah.
smart person.
I am
Very
definitely
smart
not
person.
smart enough for that. I'm a smart ass, but I'm not smart.
The one that drives me absolutely freaking bonkers, and this is something which, you know, it's not necessarily a bug, but it's just a feature that is not there. And that is that if your computer happens to conk out because of a power outage or something like that, you know, and then you fire it up, it has to launch everything that was open at the time the computer had its power cut, or you know, had a forced shutdown type thing, and you can't stop it. There doesn't seem to be any configurable option anywhere in the operating system where you can say, "Don't launch applications after a crash."
What?
Yeah. If
No.
you can find a way, I'm all ears. But if you take any old computer and you just pull the plug on the thing, right? You know, so you power it off so that it's like, you know, it's effectively just power switched off, and then you go to fire it up again. It launches, and then it will open every application that was open at the time that it crashed, and that does.
Well, I
not
saw
seem-
that at least 5 times last night when my Mac kept crashing because the hard drive failed. And as soon as it powered back up, it was like, your Mac shut down because of a problem. Would you like to reopen all the applications? And I
Mhm.
say no.
Are you?
I will
what
restart
operating
my Mac.
system were you
Mine does
using?
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are clearly on older operating systems than I am on.
Okay. We gotta-
Because this is something that has been an instance for a while now, that you don't have the option. It doesn't give you that choice anymore. It just fires them up. So
Okay, I will be right back. I'm going to go to my laptop with Ventura on it. I'm going to force shut it down and then power it back up and see what
okay,
happens.
make sure you got a few applications open.
I will. I'll be right back.
Oh, I've seen that happen. It does open up all of your stuff. It'll ask
Yeah,
you,
I mean,
you want to
If
do you
someone,
want to open up?
yeah, I mean, I know the window you are referring to, but I haven't seen that in a long time. That doesn't come up now. Whether that's a configurable option that I need to change, I am very interested. Been very interested to find out. So,
Very
but
possible.
yeah, I mean, because I have the M2 Mini, I have to use Ventura. I've got no choice but to use Ventura, and in my honest opinion, it's a piece of shit. I don't really have anything nice to say about Ventura. They might refine it into a nice operating system in the future, but at the moment, I'm not particularly happy with it. I don't mind what they've done to the control panels, to whatever they call it.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
And the only reason I say that is because, well, first of all, it brings back the nostalgia because it's more like System 6. So I like System 6 layout. The other is that while I am going through that adjustment period at the moment where I can never find anything because they're all in a different spot now, I do believe that once I have relearned it, they are actually more logically sort of positioned. So I am sort of going to make sure I do get used to it. But I don't hate it as much as other people do. So, but yeah, I really don't. There are, whether they are bugs with the M2, or whether they are bugs with the operating system, the Apple Silicon side of things, but there are bugs in Ventura that I am encountering every day. So let's hope they get those fixed. Come on, hurry up, Jay. I want to know. So
I got the photo, but StreamYard isn't accepting the HEIC format. So, you know what? I'm gonna drop it into our group chat, and
Yep.
you can just confirm that it actually happened. There we go. This was my MacBook Pro with the latest version of Ventura after a
Yep.
forced shutdown.
No,
Yep,
I
I
get
get that same. I get that same window.
I
Yeah.
don't see that anymore. So I don't know why. I don't know what the situation is, but I don't see that window anymore. When I switch my computer on, maybe it's an Apple Silicon thing. I don't know. But when I switch my computer on, after like, let's just say the circuit breaker is tripped, and I then go switch the computer on, it just launches straight into opening all the apps. I never see that little pop up. So I would
Can we
really
just
love-
confirm? Can you just hold down your power button right now and see what happens?
I was tempted to doing it to mine, but I'm on it right now, so that'd be bad.
I would like to know. I definitely would like to know. So.
There has to be a setting somewhere that
I've been
Yeah,
sitting here
probably.
looking, and I can't find anything.
Unless it's slightly
But then
corrupted.
again, I'm not running Ventura either. I'm running
Yeah.
Big Sur.
The OS might be slightly corrupted. Just that one line of code.
Fresh install. I mean, I don't
With
know
a
what else-
migration from an old OS.
Yeah.
That was just for my mail, though. That was the only thing I migrated. So
see, I'm
In
actually
actual
running
fact-
Monterey here.
Monterey. Yes, I was
Yeah, I
very
don't know
interested.
why you're not getting it. There has to be.
I will investigate. will
I do
definitely
remember
investigate.
from older operating systems where that window had a checkbox in it. Say, "Don't ask me again."
Yeah, I remember that
oh,
too.
oh, that's possible. Maybe on an older OS you click that checkbox, and the
That's
newer
possible.
OS that no longer has that
You
checkbox
could've
kind
carried
of
it
adopts
over.
it.
I-
Yeah.
I would never have clicked the checkbox
I
to
wouldn't
open
have
all
either.
applications because I never ever do that. I when my
Oh yeah,
computer
because
shuts
you're always sober when you're at your computer, right?
down- yeah, you know me. I mean, come on.
I do. That's what I'm saying. No, I don't know,
I-
but it'll be interesting to find out if there's a hidden setting somewhere for that.
yeah, no, I will definitely look into it. I'm definitely going to look into it. But anyhow, that's my pet peeve that's clearly not affecting anyone else. So, yeah. So, all right, let's move on then. I think again we've flogged that one. Unless did anyone else have anything in the group chat? Sorry, the what do you call this thing? The chat.
Well, you got Starbuck Tech agrees with you. He sees the same behavior that you're seeing.
Okay.
Oh, and Patrick said what I was just saying. I don't know if he said it first, but I'll just give Patrick full credit.
In fact, I had it posted on there when you were saying it, so you
Ah.
didn't see it pop up.
Yeah, well, I can say for certain that I have never seen that window since upgrading to this computer. So,
Then
So
again,
then-
you've only had your new glasses for 2 weeks.
these
So-
aren't these aren't the glasses. They're the glasses down for the workshop. So,
Okay, I'll find an explanation. I'll find it.
okay, cool. I expect everyone to be working on it. You know, sort of get out your calculators and figure it out
Ooh,
for me. Why it's
Wait, I thought of one more thing. Can I?
happening. Yeah.
And I think the last operating system that did this was Snow Leopard, where if you had multiple monitors, you could turn them into one ultra wide display. They wouldn't be their own spaces. They wouldn't be, it would just be one big screen, would be an option. They got rid of that.
You sure?
They-
And
Are you
and then
sure?
they reintroduced it, I believe, in Mountain Lion, but not in the same way that the old operating system had it. Like you can only have your dock on one screen, or they kind of butchered it when they brought it back. But that used to be fantastic. Like I was using ultra wide screens back on Tiger with multiple displays, mind you, but the same thing as you have today when you buy an ultra wide. And yeah, they just butchered that completely.
So, I mean, obviously, you decide which screen the dock appears on by choosing the little, which one the main menu appears on. Is that what you're referring to? Is that?
I will have to. I could have expected some questions about this, and I'm not prepared to answer them because I don't remember it that well. But I'll probably fire up the G4, hook up a bunch of screens, and
I mean,
show
I
you what
know
I
that
mean.
there's that one. I can't remember what is it. It's in. what's that stupid thing called? Is it? Oh no, what is it? I can't find anything in this new control panel.
5 minutes ago, you loved it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you just.
I told you, I'm still finding things. I don't object to.
I don't
the
really
control
use it at all. I just use the search bar at the top of it. Like, oh, I'm looking for energy saver options. Type in the word energy, and hopefully it will show up because I'm not gonna relearn system preference. Not doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're going into what is this? It's in desktop and dock now. So if you go to desktop and dock in the new control panel, and there's a section down the bottom, the very last one, displays have separate spaces. That is something that I switch off the moment I set up a new computer.
I love spaces. What are you talking about?
No.
Like right now, I have my desktop. I have the YouTube stream on one screen, and I have StreamYard on the other. If I quickly want to switch over to my security cameras, I configured one of my mouse buttons to bring up spaces. Click on the second space, and all my security cameras, everything is there. Click another space, I got a virtual machine. Click another space, I got, I don't know, cat memes. I love it.
Well, I can see how it would be of use, but I don't like it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it either.
So yeah, just saying. Alrighty, so just moving on to another quick topic. This is again just a kind of a throwaway thing. This is, do you have automatic updates on? Explain your answer.
No.
Never.
Well,
I
why?
do on my iPad only because I'm too lazy to turn it off.
I'll tell you the biggest reason why is because I wait for other people to update and see if they have problems before I update.
Same here.
Yep.
In fact, that iOS update that came out about 2 weeks ago, I just updated today.
I haven't updated yet.
The one time I left automatic updates on was for my Plex server. It installed an update that destroyed everything, and I learned my lesson again.
Yeah.
And also, I don't have automatic updates on the apps either on my iPhone. I actually update manually each app.
Same.
Yeah.
Now that I do have on because that's a pain in the ass.
But see, I like to see.
I
what's
don't use a lot of apps on my phone, so I'll go to use something and there's like 1,500 updates I got to do. So I choose to keep the apps up to date, but I let the operating system, because the last time I had automatic updates on, I got burned with Catalina.
Well, it's Catalina.
Yeah.
Nobody
Catalina
likes
sucked.
Catalina. I
hate
will say that
AKA
if there's an
Ventura
option,
1.0.
for example, Firefox, and a few other apps I use as well, if there's an option that says download the update for me, but don't install it, I will usually click that just so it prompts me like, hey, I got this update available. Just restart your app and it'll install. And then it's still my choice when to do it and if I want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even update my watch until I do it manually. I mean, everything I have is manual.
Everything's manual for me.
And one of the biggest reasons why I do it on my Mac Pro here, because right now I'm running, Open Core Legacy Patcher, running Monterey on this thing. And
You said Monterey wrong.
Monterey.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So, but anyways, so I'm running that because you don't want a Mac Pro 5.1 to update automatically to a newer version of Monterey or even Ventura. I don't even want to put Ventura on this thing. I think Monterey is going to be the last one I put on here.
Yeah, well, I mean, slightly off topic, but Open Core Legacy Patcher, they're on top of it, man. These guys are freaking brilliant, and they figure stuff out before we even know it's a problem. So I can see it happening, but I'm pretty happy with Monterey so far. Or even Big Sur would be fine for me. Or Snow Leopard.
Big Sur is probably my go-to for the older computers that that don't sort of don't like the new stuff or don't play as well with the new stuff. I think Big Sur is pretty good.
I've actually enjoyed Big Sur.
Yep.
Well, like I said, Monterey is actually It's actually pretty decent now. I mean,
Mm.
but I have Ventura on my 2019 MacBook Pro, and like Jay, I just don't like it. And Bruce is like too many bugs. It's like it does so many stupid things, you know.
Oh, Bruce was all about Mojave forever. Screw anyone that says otherwise. Blah blah blah. Oh, by the way, I just bought a new Mac Mini and I'm running
Yeah,
Ventura
But,
now.
I have to admit that the after getting this mini, and look, I mean, it's blazingly fast. I really can't complain about the speed of the hardware, and that's why I bought it. The primary reason I bought it was because I wanted something faster, specifically for working in Final Cut Pro, and I got that. I got that in a big way, but I really don't like the fact that I had Ventura forced on me. And I really would have liked to have been able to even just go one OS back. That would have
Well,
been
you
enough.
could
to
Should
get
have
happy.
bought a studio. You wouldn't have had that problem.
That's-
Bruce.
that's true.
This is true. This is very true.
Because
It
mine has Monterey on it.
And the
I
stupid
say-
thing is, they tested those Mac Minis with Monterey in house. They have, so it
Oh,
can
yeah,
technically run it. They
Mm,
just won't
well,
let you.
maybe I can trick it. I'll trick it. I'll install it on another computer and then swap the hard drive over. How about that?
Do it.
No, can't be bothered.
I don't. I was
Honestly,
gonna say you
really,
can't even do that.
really
can
can't
you?
be bothered.
Yeah, you can't do that.
So, and a quick side note, you got this new Mac because, oh my God, I can do 5, 10 videos a day now, no problem, and still have time enough to cook dinner. But there's just not enough content to really believe that statement.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, there's no doubt about that. The content hasn't been getting punched out at the rate that it should be, but that does have a lot to do with the fact that I do actually have a day job, and it's keeping me pretty busy at the moment.
That old
But,
chestnut.
yeah, that old chestnut. But it is helping me in my day job as well, because I use things like the Adobe Creative Suite, and it has, or whatever they call it now, Cloud Cock something, I don't know. But that thing is it's definitely running better on this. It's still a dog. I mean, it's just the biggest pile of bloatware out there. I find that I can actually get better performance in Adobe Illustrator, I don't know, a version from probably 10 years ago or more running on a G5 than I get on this, because it is just such the biggest pile of bloatware. And I don't think there is any code in it that has been written for for Apple Silicon either. I suspect it's all just Intel stuff getting sort of interpreted or whatever. So that's my general feeling about it. But but it is definitely running better. I am happier with it, other than all of the problems I'm having with the I/O. But we'll see if we can figure what that out is.
Minor nuisance.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. Creative Cloud, the one that you have to pay every month rather than just paying a one-off fee.
By the way, what about you, Bruce? Automatic updates? Yay or nay?
No. Look, there is one exception. The watch does automatic updates, and that's mainly because when I do automatic updates on the watch, it just does them while I'm asleep. And that's kind of nice, just to wake up and have it updated, because during the day it's a pain for me, because I don't like being without the watch for any given time. So.
Right.
So the watch is the only exception to that rule, but every other thing, yes, I do it manually. I don't like. For me, it's a loss of control. It's I just don't. I like to have control over those sorts of things.
Such a control freak.
Yeah, that's
But I
right.
can tell you one thing, at least Mac OS is way better than Windows in that respect, is that you can actually say no to updates and never ever update if you want to, versus Windows, because basically you can delay it, but you can't stop it.
Eventually, it's going to force it.
Yeah.
And I have almost a year of Windows experience now, and I can speak to that. It doesn't the last time I used Windows before that was Windows XP, and before that Windows 95. So there's not a lot of experience there, but it used to nag constantly years ago. Like, hey, update. Do you want to update? Are you sure you don't want to update? Why not? Tell us why you don't want to update. Might as well install it. Just update. And it would just keep nagging you and it would piss you off. But now the PC will tell me, hey, there's an update. And if I say no, it just goes away. It didn't nag me constantly. What it would do, kind of like Firefox, is it would keep it in the background. Like you knew it was there looking at you. You just couldn't exactly tell where it was. And it would just make the computer slower and slower and slower. And Firefox does the same thing. If there's an update and you just ignore it, Firefox will become unusable until you install it. And Windows is the same way. It's just, okay, we're just going to terrorize you into installing it because, that's what we do.
I just think it's funny that he said he hasn't had a bunch of Windows experience, and yet he used XP, which was short for experience. It was Windows Experience.
It was a shitty experience.
But Don brought up something really interesting that I actually kind of do miss is Back to My Mac.
What was that again?
That was very useful. Back to My Mac. They introduced that. When did they introduce that?
Isn't that iCloud Drive now? You can get all your files and stuff.
Well, it kind of, but it was remote desktop. Only you could. It went over VPN.
Over the internet.
Yeah, and it was like having your other computer right there with you wherever you went. When I was traveling, I'd always leave my Mac Pro running, and I just access my hard drive straight from my laptop and pull any file I needed off, and it would transfer right over. And they killed that off when Mojave came out. It really made me sad.
Huh. Would something like AnyDesk fill that void?
Yeah, but it was seamless. You didn't have to install anything. It was just there. It was a function of the OS.
I wonder if there were security concerns. And that was why they removed it.
Probably. Because they killed the servers off for it. I think when Catalina came up, so you couldn't even access it anymore if you were still running High Sierra.
That's convenient. You can see all your files. By the way, so can everyone else on your network. I don't know if they kept up with it. Was it a separate app or was it built in?
You had to be logged into the same account on both computers and the same iCloud account. And it would sync to the iCloud services, and then it would just be there.
That sounds very convenient. I would like that back, please.
Yeah.
I agree with Grudy on that. That used to be a very cool feature. I mean, it still has it if you're on your own network. I mean, because I do that all the time here at home. But having it when you're on the road on a different network would be awesome.
Yep.
Now, I'm just going to do a quick little test here to make sure that Mike is paying attention. Hey, viewers, don't forget to
smash that like button.
Right in the middle of doing something, you jerk.
He was looking at the bathing suit.
There he was.
Actually, I'm looking at my laptop.
All right. So I'm just going to move on to this is a little article that came up. It was published on a thing that you actually need a subscription to read, and it was then republished on 9 to 5 Mac. So I put the 9 to 5 Mac link there, and it was basically talking. They asked people of different age groups, how quickly would you replace your phone if it was lost or damaged beyond use? And everyone was just assuming, it's going to be those millennials, the ones that they can't be without their Instagram for, sort of for more than 2 seconds. So the moment they lose their phone, they're going to be buying a new one. But it actually turned out I think it was more like people of my age bracket were more likely to be replacing that. I think it was people like late 40s or early 50s or something.
45 to 54.
Yeah,
Sorry?
I believe that.
I believe it too, because if I lose my phone today or smash it or whatever, I'm not I'm not that eager to spend another $1,200. I could go without. I work from home. I can FaceTime. I can do everything on my computer. But if my mom has to go without her Facebook games for more than 2 hours, she loses it. So I'm pretty sure she would order a new phone on the spot.
I don't know. I think it's a lot of a lot of people, especially in that age bracket, run their lives off their phone. What the heck? Someone's calling.
My iPhone 4S.
Yeah, they run their lives off their phone, and if they don't have a phone, they can't run their life off of it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. My wife, if something happened to her phone like that, we would be like at some place getting a new phone like right away. And if it was like at night, she would
Like
be
3
like,
a.m.
yeah, it'd be like, you need to drive me someplace to get a new phone, or I would have to like find one of my old phones that I have and at least configure it for her to use temporarily.
Yeah.
But I actually
So,
have
no. It's 3 a.m., honey. Let's just go to sleep. We'll take care of it in the morning. And you wake up at 9 a.m. and she's there in the corner rocking back and forth.
Uh-huh.
Detox.
You want to use an Android in the meantime?
Yeah.
But I do think that everybody should have a very, very minuscule telephone that Bruce has as a backup. Just so you can make a call if you need to. Come on, man. You always have it in your pocket. It was the perfect...
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that mess. Look at that.
I've lost it.
He's like, nothing behind the screen here. Nothing.
Yeah, the downside is that it's so small, you'll probably lose it.
Yeah, I've got no idea where it is.
Is that the one they call the butt phone? Where
That's the one. Yeah.
The criminals
Yeah,
hide
let
it
me-
up their butt.
Yeah, that's right. Let me
Smuggle
ring
it.
it up.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's pointless now because aren't they using phone jammers these days? But okay. Nope.
You blew it. The moment is gone.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned. I don't know where it is.
It's up.
Well, I
his
guess
butt.
I guess
That's
I'm
where it
lucky
is.
because I still have my iPhone 6s Plus around it.
How is that lucky?
Oh, what?
So,
No, how is that lucky? Because I know AT&T and T-Mobile, they all kicked those older phones off their network, didn't they?
No.
The iPhone 6 is still good to go.
6s Plus isn't that old. They just dropped support for it in the iOS this year.
No, but I mean the 3G. They're no longer accepting 3G. Can those do 4G?
Yeah,
It's an
yeah,
LTE phone.
yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
You could do 4G on the who's the 4 and
4S.
4S, right?
No,
Yeah, 4S.
Yeah.
4S could only do, I think,
No,
3G.
4S does LTE.
Did it?
Yeah,
No,
the 4
no.
does the 4 does
4S.
4G and the 4S does LTE.
Oh,
I
okay.
have both, believe me, I know. And they're actually both still usable.
Yeah.
It's the 3G network. Well, first of all, T-Mobile never had a 3G network, technically. So,
Well,
but
now you're just
they're-
getting way too technical for me.
but they bought out Sprint. Now Sprint is now part of T-Mobile, and now they're shutting down Sprint.
Now they suck twice as hard. Yay.
I've been using T-Mobile for, I don't know, 15 years. I've never had a problem with it. So, I mean, they work here in my house when AT&T and Verizon don't. So, yeah.
Well, I like the fact that I have especially T-Mobile has the Wi-Fi calling.
Yeah.
So where I live at, our cell towers are pretty much non-existent. So I have like 0 bars. So my phones are basically used on Wi-Fi only.
Same here.
I use that too, but that's not a carrier feature, is it?
Actually, it is.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was iOS that offered that.
Nope, it's a
Nope.
carry feature.
I have it too, and AT&T, and
Same.
it's
AT&T
nice.
does it.
you could, if you were using FaceTime, you could do it that way, though, couldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, it's FaceTime, but I'm talking about calling another cell
Yeah.
Or
phone.
house phone or something like that.
So
Yeah.
right now, I'm looking at mine. I have no bars on my cellular.
Is
but I
there
have
someone you
full-
can call about that? That seems pretty bad.
Well, that's because I'm in a new housing.
No,
area.
because he doesn't have bars.
So what they built the houses before they built the cell tower? Shouldn't the infrastructure come first? I'm just
That's not
asking.
how it works in the United States, there, Bruce. So,
Especially outside of DC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quick show of hands, and just pretend that I'm on camera, not showing my hand. Who here still has a house phone?
oh, Bruce.
I don't know why. I have no freaking idea.
That was
Look,
my
actually,
follow-up question. Why?
There is actually a justifiable reason for this, and that is that I do run a business from home, and it is the business number that's recorded on a lot of things. It's a number that it's a cool number too. It's because I was really nice to the person when I was asking for the new number, and they gave me a really awesome number with lots of repeated digits and stuff. So. And that's really the only reason, is because it is the number that's like on business cards, or it's on, information that's recorded about the business that I have. It's that number is recorded. That's
that's
only
right there?
reason. I mean, not even my mother calls me on the landline anymore. I mean, it's just it's just straight to the. Straight to the as we call them here, mobile phone, not cell phone. But
while it's a good attempt to try and justify the house line, even though you can have that number migrated over to your cell phone that can hold multiple numbers.
Yeah, okay.
What Code Professor just said is the only legitimate reason to have a house phone, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's sheer laziness, I think. I should just get rid of it. I mean, I'm on a bundle package. My internet and the phone and stuff, it's all part of the one bundle. So it means that I'd have to go and change the bundle. And dealing with the carrier that I use, making any sort of change is a freaking nightmare. And when after you make the change...
You must be on Telstra.
Yes,
Bruce,
I am. Things might...
It's sad that I'm halfway across the world and I've heard horror stories about Telstra.
Yeah.
Bruce,
I mean,
Oh, Lord.
my
make
new
a
house
change
here-
and things might just suddenly stop working, you know?
Yeah, my new house here is not even wired for landline phone.
Yeah, I mean
I believe that.
it is technically VoIP because it's the signal runs over the fiber optic that comes into the house, so it's not actually like a copper copper wire.
I was going to say, phone companies don't put copper in anymore, really. At least not too often.
So, but I don't know. I'll get rid of it one day. I mean, it pisses me off when it rings. You guys have seen the way I behave when my phone rings. I get really
Downright violent.
It's one of my favorite things in the world.
I think we should all crank calling right now.
If I had the number, I would call her right now, but I don't.
Yes, you
I might
do.
swear that. I might swear.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I have a cell phone number, not a house.
He's in the messages thing.
What?
He's in the messages group chat.
But is that
That's a cell
that's-
phone.
It's my cell number. I
No.
don't think it's my.
I guess
my
I'm the
landline.
only one that has his cell phone then. $50 and it's yours.
Because the if the cell phone goes off, it makes my watch go thing, so it doesn't worry me as much. So. I feel like we've digressed somewhat. So
A little bit. A little bit.
all
It's
right.
time
So
to wrap up because some of us have to go to bed.
yes, that's exactly right. We have run for over an hour, so I think we can definitely call it a night. So
Well, but there's one topic in there, and I have no idea what it is or means, and I really want to know.
do we want to cover it really, really quickly?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Last topic of the night. Juice jacking. What is it? Does it affect me? Should I wear protection?
Oh, yeah, that one.
So my question is, what is it? Does it affect me, and should I wear protection?
Okay, so juice jacking. I just thought I would mention this. It was something that came up, and it was something that is important because iPhones do have some protection against this. But basically, juice jacking is where you might go to a public place and utilize a public USB port for maybe charging your phone. And that is where once you are plugged in, you then become part of a network, and then people then go around trying to steal information from your phone. So that's juice jacking. It's called that because it basically means people are charging their phone, and then someone will then hack into their phone. And although the iPhones are not, what's the word?
Didn't they
They're not
protect against
immune.
that since iOS 13 or something?
Well, they have the option. They have that trust computer thing.
Yeah,
So, and if you don't trust the computer, then
they
you're
can't
safe.
get into it. Yep.
But if you do trust the computer, then you are vulnerable. So it's just a matter of making sure that people are aware that if you are plugging your phone into a public USB port, if you do get that question about trust computer and you don't know anything about what you're plugging into, don't trust it. Don't trust it.
Yeah, it'll still charge. It just won't allow
Yeah.
the data lines.
That's right.
Yeah, and
So-
I think I didn't know that was the official name for it. I do know what you're talking about now.
Yep.
I think another big thing when this became a thing years ago was to buy USB cables that only allowed for power.
Power.
And not data.
Yep.
Like if you were traveling and you wanted a quick charge somewhere, just get a power only USB cable.
Or you
That's
just buy a power bank now and be done with it, not even hook up to anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Man,
you can certainly do it with a micro USB cable. Can you do a power only iPhone cable, Lightning cable? I don't know. I've not
I
investigated.
don't think so. I've never.
I think you
could
can.
probably.
You could probably make one, but I don't.
I was
think
going
they
to say,
sell
can
one.
you tape or cut out the 2 data lines in there and only have the
Yeah,
power?
I don't know if it's ever been tried, so I've just
But
got no idea if it would even
The
work.
reason why I say that because there's a chip inside the other end
Hmm.
that requires power or that probably requires some data or something. I don't know, and it may
I
not
don't
work.
know.
Well, what if I just don't charge my phone?
Okay, so that is homework for everyone for the next show.
Don't charge your phone. That's the
yeah.
homework.
Go out and maul a cable and see if it works.
So, co-professor said he did try it. It does not work.
Okay, there we go.
Ah.
Man.
Now we know.
All right.
Okay. Okay, that means the show's over. So, alrighty. Well, okay. First of all, just very quickly, does anyone have anything they want to share? There's coming up things of interest coming up. Things.
Well, you guys already know what I'm doing this weekend,
You all know
so
about VCF.
I'm
Yes, that's
sharing.
coming. Anything else?
Yeah, be
Anyone?
sure to watch Mike at 3:30 tomorrow at Saturday. Or Saturday, brother, not tomorrow.
Saturday. Yeah, Saturday.
I'll be
keep
cleaning
thinking-
my office.
I'll be at work.
I'll probably be asleep because I think it's at a time when it's not daytime for me. Yeah. So, a reminder of everyone that we have a Discord there. There is a link to it if you want to go and join and hang out with all the awesome people that are on our Discord. Also, quick mention of Tinker Different. They also have a Discord. They have an online forum, lots of interesting stuff there, lots of clever, vintagey, computery people there, and lots of amazing projects. So do check out the old Tinker Different if you get a chance. We will be on again in a fortnight's time. For people who don't understand what that word means, it means 2 weeks.
Or bi-weekly.
No,
Yeah.
'cause that can mean 2 things. So fortnight and
Wasn't me.
not even sneezes are private. When a man's got to sneeze, a man's got to sneeze.
Before it gets worse, we should probably just say bye.
Yeah, that's right.
You know.
Okay, thank you to everyone for joining. Thank you everyone who's been in the chat and keeping it lively. We do hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back in a fortnight and have a good one. So, bye-bye.